all y'all's fault.
You do it to yourselves. You do.
That's what really
That's
hurts.
what really hurts. Ladies and gentlemen, in case you can't tell, Gordon and I don't have any news prepared for you.
Nope.
So we're just kind of winging it, but that's okay. It's our first show back, and I'm glad we're doing it, and I'm happy. I had something I wanted to talk about. It was work related. You shut up. Um, that was my assistant, everybody. She's trying to pipe up. I had something work related I wanted to discuss with you, and I'm going to have to rack my brain. I had it all set up for when you said you couldn't do the show, and I can't find that notebook now. And you're like, oh, I'm going
Ah.
camping. And I'm like, I've got the best show planned for us. And you're like, no,
No, I'm going away.
that's cool, but no. So I'll tell you guys, just talking about work, and tell you guys can email me, gwynethpaltrodsvagina@gmail.com if you've had this happen to you. This is a straight up quote. I went up to a customer. I said, hi, can I help you, sir? He said, no, I need someone who knows what he's talking about, and walked away.
It's amazing.
I was like, well, I flattered that you recognize me. Thank you.
That's so good.
Yeah, just flat out, no shame, no apology, no nothing, just very matter of fact. Nope, I need someone who knows what he's talking about. Good. Well done, sir. Well played. Fair ball.
Wow.
And then just today, a guy came asking about a product. I won't bore you guys with it, but it was vacuum bags. You go, which bags are for my vacuum? So I took him to the vacuum bags. I showed him which bags were for his vacuum. He took them from my hand, walked 10 feet over to another salesman, and said, hey, can you tell me which bags are for my vacuum?
Did they give a different answer?
No, of course not. There's only one answer, and it was the one I gave. But apparently I've established myself as someone whose answers cannot be relied upon. So that's a very
Fucking
good
hell.
feeling. That feels very good when your customers, who your job is dependent upon because sales are the only thing that matters at my job.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically like a commission position without the commission. Because sales are all that matters. Nothing else matters. And my customers think I'm an idiot. And that's great, I think, for the most part, because I act like one while I'm there. So
Kind of works out then.
it does. And I've just played it right up. I'm like, good, you guys know me? Great. You're going to think that about me. Just watch how idiotic I can be when I put my mind to it. Nothing
You think
worse
I'm
than
dumb
a really
now.
smart guy pretending to be dumb.
Yeah. It's funny.
So I want to hear you guys' work stories. That was the inception of this podcast in its infancy. It was called Is It Just Me? And it was just me bitching about work every day. And asking people to call in and bitch about their work. And nobody ever did.
No.
Not a single
Which
person.
was really frustrating because everybody has a work experience.
I thought it was a great idea for a show. I thought people would really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And now there's these Facebook pages all over the place, these rant and rave pages, where that's exactly what you do. You just rant or rave. It's the same thing as my podcast would have been. But it warped into the Eric and Gord show, and that's cool. I like it. I hope you guys do. I can't find those goddamn podcasts I was going to talk about, so I'm going to move on. As I was just scrolling through things, I found a list of Canada's funniest town names.
Oh boy.
And they're not all that great. We've got Bigwood. That's pretty funny. And Winterland. That's kind of whatever. I think that's Nova Scotia. Winterland, Nova Scotia. New Brunswick.
It sounds very pleasant.
Beersville. That's pretty cool.
That's cool.
I don't know who named their town Beersville in Canada, but that's stereotypical.
Not a whole lot of thought went into that one.
And then Beaverton. Obviously, everyone makes fun of Beaverton.
Mm-hmm.
Moose Jaw is on the list. That's not funny. It's just weird.
Yeah. Yeah, how does that... I've always wanted to know where the fuck that name came from.
I believe it's the geography of the town.
it's located at the jaw of a moose?
No, it's shaped like the jaw of a moose. You know, like Manitoba is the Keystone State because it's shaped like a keystone.
No.
And, you know, things are named after how they're shaped. That's why everyone wants to boot Italians. I don't know. That's not true. Not everyone does. The only one
Doesn't
that's
make
really
it less
awesome,
funny.
obviously, is Dildo, Saskatchewan. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So I thought that was going to be comedy gold for us in lieu of another Canadian cool thing. And no, it wasn't. It was kind of crap. So sorry about that.
I have something Canadian for you.
Please.
This I find is fascinating. Okay. Bear with me here, okay?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to talk about bears too. Carry on.
Okay. Lake Superior, which is the
Such a pretentious name.
well, it is the largest freshwater lake in the world.
I thought Lake Ontario was.
No, Lake Superior is bigger by volume, not by geographical size, but by volume.
That makes sense.
So Lake Superior has an island. On
Yes.
that island, so that island is also listed as the largest island in the world.
What?
On it's listed as the largest island in the world inside of a lake.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh,
Very
I'm not
exciting.
done. On that island, so the island itself has a lake inside the island. So now this island has the largest lake inside of an island, which is inside the largest lake.
That's pretty wild, actually.
And then inside that island is a pond, which has a boulder, which when the pond floods becomes the largest island in the largest lake on the largest island in the largest lake on the largest island in the largest lake in the world.
That's stupid. It went from cool to stupid, just like that.
It took a real fast nosedive, but the boulder in question is extremely difficult to find, and those that have found it, nobody has been able to take a picture of the boulder because it's only visible at a very for a short period of time when that's actually there. So
that's crazy. That's very cool.
So yeah, random, right? So yeah, so it's the largest island in the largest lake on the largest island in the largest lake on the largest island in the largest lake in the world.
Well, let me relate that to good old Lake Okanagan here, which is a giant lake. It's I think it's a kilometer end to end.
That's a big one.
There's an island in Okanagan Lake, and it's called Rattlesnake Island. I don't believe there's any rattlesnakes there. Don't know why it's called that. And a friend of mine, not an acquaintance of mine, his family owned it at one point. They owned Rattlesnake Island, and they were going to build an amusement park on it. And then for whatever reason, the government just took it back. What do they call that? They abdicated the land or whatever.
Yes.
And just stole their island from them. It's still sitting there vacant, with a half-finished amusement park on it. But they went on. They started a theme hotel, and there's this guy. There's a statue, kind of like the Big Boy Burger statue, and he just looks really angry, and he's pointing, and no one can figure it out. It's Castle Haymore, for those of you in the Okanagan who know. Castle Haymore, and there's the picture of the guy. He's just angry. And if you look, he's pointing at Rattlesnake Island, and he's very, very angry. And that statue is mad because they took the island away from the Haymore family. Huh. And I was friends with Rob Haymore, and that's just funny. I wasn't friends. I barely knew the guy, but it's better if I say I was.
Yeah, well, it makes the story interesting.
It is not the largest island, the largest lake, and the largest anything. But it's a pretty funny story. They need this giant epic statue, just angry. And no one can figure out why it's angry. It's supposed to be like a happy theme hotel with just this miserable bastard standing out front. It's funny. We also have a big boulder in a lake, and it's very hard to get to. And it's perfectly round. We call it the Pebble.
Oh,
It's
really?
like it's been smoothed by the water over the years to the point where it's like perfectly round, like almost looks fake.
Really?
Yeah, it's very very cool, and it's probably 30 feet, maybe 20 feet in diameter. But it's very
Huh.
difficult to swim to because everyone likes to party there and throw their beer bottles at it and smash their bottles on it. So it's just broken glass everywhere in the water and not fun to swim in. Because Kelowna people know how to treat their landmarks. Losers.
Not funny.
Um,
Huh.
what else can we? I lost
I
the
got
list of
some.
podcasts to plug. Oh, there's some I can plug. Where's that other fucking
Okay.
page? You go ahead and talk. I'm gonna find some podcasts to plug.
This is just something I just found somewhat interesting. The um, the Swiss Alps. Um, the Swiss Alps did not exist during when dinosaurs were around. It was
Oh, okay.
created after the extinction of the dinosaurs.
That's weird.
I thought that was very strange. I had no idea. So at some point after the
So are you
dinosaurs, see,
blaming the Alps for the extinction of the dinosaurs? Is that what you're saying?
no, I'm blaming the dinosaurs for, or I'm applauding the dinosaurs for the creation of the Alps.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I'm going to go with that.
Very cool. Now the Alps, the majority of the Alps are not in Switzerland, are they?
That's correct. It's spread. It's all over. It goes right through a whole bunch of fucking areas.
Yeah, but it's not like they call them the Swiss Alps, but really it'd be more accurate to be like the Austrian Alps or something like that.
Yeah, I think that's
The
right.
majority of them are not in Switzerland. Anyway, that's just a boring thing.
But yeah, so just a random thing. So I guess the question now comes is because the guesstimation was of somewhere around 65 million to 2.6 million years ago is when they were fully have been uplifted.
2.6 million.
That's not that long ago, considering.
Yeah, I think I was here.
Well, here's the interesting, and I bet some you didn't know. Only up until recently, like I mean, within the last, I think, 10 years, if I'm correct, the Alps have officially stopped growing, and they are actually technically shrinking.
Huh.
So they will never be as high as they are today.
I have a few friends that could probably say that.
Don't we all?
That's really cool. Tectonic stuff and Earth movement and stuff it's weird.
Yeah.
That's more interesting than space to me. All this shit happening, like the North Pole is no longer in Canada. That's fucked. That's weird.
Weird, right? It always has been. What the fuck?
It doesn't matter. It's like Santa still lives here. Don't worry, kids. But that kind of stuff is just fascinating to me, and I like that the Earth is still shifting and forming, and that volcanoes are making islands that weren't there before, and
Yeah.
Alps are shrinking, and the Rockies are growing, and I don't know what's going on. I don't follow it, but it's interesting when Gord brings stuff like this up.
Yeah, I was quite fascinated by that one. I thought that
I'm
was
gonna have to start
thing.
following it more. I'm gonna get devoted to like geology or something.
Because the real thing I thought about this was they thought that the Alps emerged. It's called during the Alpine orogeny. It's an event that began about 65 million years ago. Well, 65 million years ago was when the dinosaurs were wiped out.
Right.
So my question is just simply, were the Alps created? Were the dinosaurs wiped out by whatever happened by the creation of the Alps? Like, you know, it wiped all civilization, but it created the Alps.
It would make sense.
It kind of would, but I've never heard that put together before.
That
Like, nobody's ever
immediately
seen.
was followed by an ice age, right?
Yes, it was. That's
so,
right.
That would make sense. That would make absolute sense that the ice then would shift and make Alps.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So,
fucking weird.
there you go. Dinosaurs are lizards.